What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys have had a wonderful weekend. I know I'm one day late. The internet went out. Could not help it. So I'm doing it tonight for you guys. If you guys can hear me in the chat, go ahead and let me know, because we all know that I have audio issues a lot. So if you hear any audio issues, please let me know in the chat. But we should be good. You know, tonight, before we get started, because I got a few different things that I want to talk about. The very first thing that I do want to do before we get started on anything at all is the tragedy that happened in Washington, D.C. on last Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, right? I'm sure we've all heard about it. I'm not going to get into it as far as political stuff. It better not sound feminine. Before we get started, though, I do want to take some time out to have a moment of silence for Sarah Beckstrom. She was a soldier that was killed in Washington, D.C. last Wednesday. So, before we get started, I am going to do that. I thought that was super important to recognize her for a moment of silence, just because, you know, nobody wants to hear that news, especially on U.S. soil. It's a tragedy that kind of hits a little bit too close to home, and this is a show about combat veterans and veterans in general. So I thought it was super important for me to recognize her for a moment of silence. Got a pretty good show for you guys tonight. Going to go over a couple different things. If you guys read the headlines or the title and the description, you know, I've gotten asked a lot about what it was like during the holidays in Iraq when I was deployed. And tonight, you're going to get my perspective on that. I'm not going to bring in any live guests tonight. You're only getting me, unfortunately, right? Just kidding. But I got that coming up. I got a little bit of a change coming up. It's not really a change. It's just changing the way that I'm doing things. I'm excited to bring that to you guys as well. And plus a lot more. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And here we go. You know, if you've ever heard the saying, when it rains, it pours, that's exactly what happened to me this weekend. I hope your guys' Thanksgiving weekend was a hell of a lot better than mine. Mine was a little crazy. As many of you know, I do get my kids on Thursday nights, which is always a high point in my week. So, got the kids on Thursday night. Friday at around noon, let's back up a little bit. I have a dog. Well, I have 3 dogs. One of them's 13 years old. He's a pit bull. He was laying on the couch. Got up off the couch and went over to the water bowl and just collapsed. I thought he was having a seizure. He stiffened up on me. Pretty scary stuff, especially with the kids in there. It was scary for me. So, didn't know exactly what to do with him or what was wrong with him. I had a good friend that is a vet tech kind of give me some advice on what was going on and gave me some medicine for him. So I've been monitoring him for the last, I don't know, since Friday. He's in his cage. He hates me currently. So if you hear whining in the background, that definitely is him. And then last night, yesterday, the internet went out, so I couldn't do the show. But I'm back today. I didn't want to miss the rally point. It is one of my favorite things to do for you guys, not only because of the show in general, but I get to interact with you guys. Matt Galuso, you know what? I absolutely love the intro. I'm glad you guys like it as well. I thought it was pretty cool. But I did want to bring the show to you guys tonight. I think it's an important thing to do. I hope, like I said, everybody had a great Thanksgiving day. I hated seeing the Cowboys win on Thanksgiving Day. Absolutely hate the Cowboys. But the one bright spot of my weekend was Ohio State beating Michigan for the first time. And, well, Michigan beat us 4 times in a row. So it's always good to get a win over Michigan. So that was a good part of my weekend. The one good thing that happened to me this weekend. So last week on Sunday, I did not do a nonprofit. This week, I am going to do a nonprofit. I've been reaching out to different nonprofits. So tonight, our nonprofit is going to be Stop Soldier Suicide. They're one of the only organizations in the country focused entirely on veteran and service member suicide prevention, not awareness, actual intervention. They provide free, confidential support, one-on-one counseling, crisis response, and long-term care plans for veterans who are struggling the most. As you know, we lose too many veterans every single day, and Stop Soldier Suicide is out there doing the hard work to change that. If you or someone you know is fighting that silent battle, reach out. There's no shame in needing help, and you're not alone. You know, I thought that was a really good nonprofit to go over, especially how it aligns with what we're trying to do on this show and with the interviews and interacting with each other. And I think it's a great thing. So I did want to highlight them. They are at Stop Soldier Suicide Organization on Facebook. Go find them. Definitely support them. They are a good nonprofit to support. Matt Galuso, what about LSU getting the new coach? Man, you know what? I think he's going to be a great hire for you guys. The one thing that I did not like, and this is the new age of football, I don't like when a coach leaves his team during the season. I think Ole Miss has a chance, or I could be wrong in this, of making the college football playoffs. And all of a sudden he leaves to go to LSU. I have no problem with him going to a different school, you know, especially with how fast these schools fire their coaches. Kind of crappy the way he went about it. I don't know the backstory behind it. I love the fact that the players themselves are getting money to play. but it's almost like the NFL now, right? Um, yeah, definitely. You got to think of it from Ole Miss's standpoint as well. Whereas, not only is it going to hurt their recruiting class, because if you're a 5-star and you're signed and you've committed to Ole Miss, now are you going to go to Ole Miss? Probably not. So the way he did things, kind of crappy in my opinion. But the new age of college football, it is what it is, right? So. But like I said, I'm glad to go over that nonprofit. I've had a lot of questions about, and I had a good friend suggest this to me. She said, well, go over, what it was like being deployed during the holidays. And I definitely want to do that. That in my family, Christmas and Thanksgiving were the two biggest holidays. And for a lot of you guys out there and women as well, those are the two biggest holidays when it comes to holidays. July 4th really wasn't that big to me, but when you get into Thanksgiving and Christmas and things like that, it's a big holiday. I mean, you want to be around family, you want to be around friends. And that was one of my biggest fears when it came to getting deployed and when we got deployed in 2006, because we were a later deployment. I think we left in September. We got the country October. I could be wrong. I think we got the country in October. But we were allowed 2 weeks of leave. The problem with that is if you leave in October and then you go home for Christmas, now all of a sudden you have to stay 10 months in country without a break. Some guys decided to do that. Some ladies decided to do that. I decided to take it kind of in the halfway point, which was nice. But nothing beats being around your family and friends for the holidays. And you feel like you're missing out and things like that. That was definitely a really tough point for me. Thinking about, I have 3 cousins that stayed with my grandma. If you guys don't know, I was raised by my grandma. So everybody used to go over to my grandma's house for Christmas. And I just remember wishing that I could be home. The good thing is that you're around a lot of other brothers, or I was around, being in a combat arms unit, 99.9% of us I think every one of us were guys. But being around your brothers and being around your good friends every single night, every single day, sharing those times with those people made it a little bit easier. Plus, we were getting care packages in, which was pretty cool. Now, on the downside of that, being in a country in the Middle East, which was probably like 95% Muslim, they don't celebrate Christmas, and they know that we do. So they try to make it hell that day, and that's exactly what they made it on us on Christmas Day. If you guys remember Christmas Day, I know Macaluso. I don't think Macaluso went out that day. I think they were in the motor pool. I remember going out, coming back because a sniper had shot out a tire of ours, so we had to go back. But before we even got to that point, yeah, exactly, Macalusa. There's nothing like leaning on each other every day in a combat zone. You know, I don't think any of us would have gotten through that deployment without the support of each other. And I think that that is something that will stick with me for the rest of my life, is the support from you guys. I know for me personally, I cannot speak to anybody else, but for me personally, that's what got me through it. What's going on, Lion? I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, brother. I seen the turkey. You did a good job with the saw. That was interesting. Never seen that before. You did a great job. It looked great. I've never had a smoked turkey, by the way. I've had deep fried. I've had roasted. I've had all that. Never had a smoked turkey before, but it did look good. But yeah, going back into the day, Christmas Day, all I remember is IED after IED. And for those of you out there that don't know what an IED is, which, you know, everybody in this chat knows what an IED is, but, you know, if you're watching this afterwards, an IED is just an improvised explosive device. Basically, they set a roadside bomb at the side of the road and they try to blow up your vehicle. We found a ton of them. We were hit by some of them. But that day, going down Vanessa South, I will never forget. I was in a Humvee, okay? And I was with Lieutenant Bolton. And I remember having one of the RGs. I believe I was with Lieutenant Bolton that day. All I know is one of the RGs got its tire shot out. So we had to turn around, go back to the motor pool, get our tire fixed, roll back out, and then we get word that there is a little Toyota truck driving around with a Dishka on the back of it. These Dishkas, and I could be wrong about the caliber, I'm pretty sure a Dishka is a 50 cal. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a big ass gun mounted to the back of this Toyota truck, and they're going down there shooting at us and stuff like that. I do believe that we had mortars coming in that day. Could be wrong on that. So they definitely tried to make it hell on us. And they did a damn good job. They kept the mechanics busy. But as route clearance, no matter how long it takes you, you have to stay out there and clear that route. So at some point, you have to get to the end point, right? So it doesn't matter if you go back to the fob 4 or 5 times, you still have to go to that end point, turn around and go back. And a lot of the times it took us forever to do. Christmas Day was one of those days. And it's a Christmas that I'll never forget. I remember getting back and going to the chow hall. And, you know, it was a lot. Especially, it's hard to describe. It's hard to describe kind of how you feel in that moment, because you know your family's back at home. You know that they're enjoying each other's company. They're missing you. But while they're missing you, they have no idea that you're getting shot at and blown up, and you're in a combat zone. The enemy doesn't care if it's Christmas Day, right? But to us, it mattered. I remember going back to the fob. If you don't know what a fob is, it's our base. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it's a 50 cal. Dishka is a 50 cal. But our chow hall, our chaplain, I would love to get in contact with him. I would love to hear his point of view on stuff. Um, it would be really cool to hear his point of view. You know, I got one story I want him to tell because I'm sure he remembers it, and it has to do with Greenwood. Greenwood was one of my good buddies. Greenwood was a hell of a guy, but he always called himself the master driver. And I do believe Greenwood was the only one to get our chaplain to cuss. He almost flipped the RG, and the chaplain said something to him. Oh, yeah, we had the best chaplain. Yeah, probably in the military, to be honest with you. I absolutely love that guy. Great person. Going to the chow hall, though, another question I get is, how did you eat over there? Like, was it good food? I'll tell you what, I would do anything to go to that chow hall at Warhorse again. It was like the biggest buffet. Every single night you could have pretty much anything that you wanted, from, wraps to steak to chicken to... We shared a fob with the Georgians, not the state Georgia, but the actual Georgians. And if you didn't get in there before them, they ate all the food. It was mostly chicken wings, but they would eat all the food. But yeah, I just remember going into the chow hall and them having a Christmas dinner for us. And they did the same thing for Thanksgiving as well. I don't remember too much about Thanksgiving. If you guys remember Thanksgiving Day, let me know. I know that they did something for us, though. I absolutely know that. Our chow hall was amazing when it came to, holidays and stuff like that. They really kept the morale going. Yeah, they were really crazy people, man. I remember them letting people blow up that bridge on Blue Babe, getting paid to do that. It was interesting, man. But then when we came back to our area, we had a Christmas party. Now, I believe that was at one of the gym. No. The FOB had a Christmas party at that little gym, not the main gym, but the little one, I believe. And I remember that. I actually have some pictures of it. There were guys that stuck out in my mind when it came to Christmas. Hot Carl being one of them, buddy. He dressed up as Santa Claus, and while he may not have looked too much like Santa Claus, it did put you in a Christmas mood. It was nice seeing that. It made you laugh. And that's important around those times. But all in all, we had each other. And that was the most important part. That's what holidays was like. You missed your loved ones. But I think moving forward, it makes you appreciate those times. I didn't know what Hot Carl meant until you mechanics told me that, man. It makes you appreciate every holiday, every day that you get to spend with your loved ones and your friends and your family. And you really get to take in those times. I was lucky enough. You guys know that I had a bad few years. But not last Christmas, but the Christmas before that, I actually got to spend it with Thanksgiving and Christmas with my dad all day, which was absolutely amazing. It was his last Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve. And, it makes it more special that I got to spend the whole day with him. But I was in the moment, and I think in the moment, the reason why I was in the moment was because I appreciated it. And the reason why I appreciated it was because of Iraq. Now that I'm a father, I appreciate all the holidays with my kids. And, Yeah. I think it makes you appreciate those holidays a lot more. But thank God for you brothers there that have your back, right? I kind of want to move into something that was on the news, and we all know I'm not political on this channel at all, but I did want to touch on something. Um, you know, I gotta be careful what I say. Um, what happened the day before Christmas or the day before Thanksgiving was absolutely horrible. But the person who did it was an interpreter. And I've had a lot of questions, especially with what I've been doing. I get a lot of like random questions now from people I've known for a long time. And I got a couple questions about interpreters and if I think that they should be allowed over here. Our interpreters were very, very good. And they ended up being very close to us, a lot of them. One of the interpreters, and if you guys have not heard the interviews talk about one of the interpreters, I'm going to tell you about him. His name was Steve. And I don't know if you guys remember Steve, but he was an awesome guy. I hated him at first. I hated all the interpreters at first. But the more I got to know them, the more I knew that they wanted to help. There were a couple times where, I knew that Steve was actually a really good person. One of those times being, no, it's not the only shirt I own. It just so happens I haven't wore this shirt in probably like a week and a half, okay? Be quiet, Cahill. Look, all Hollywood Dave. You guys always giving me shit. Chucky, yeah, Chucky. Chucky was awesome, man. But Steve really changed my life, and I've said this numerous times on this channel. He changed my life because after my cousin died, I didn't want to talk to a Middle Eastern person. I didn't want to hear from him. I didn't want to do any of that. But allowing myself to get over that and talk to Steve about what had happened and stuff like that, I was ignorant for it because he wasn't that person. And he proved that to me time and time again. One of those times was, back when, if you've heard about the Buffalo that got blown up on Detroit, I had, my vehicle got blown up that day too. And I had to ride with the National Guard members, Reserve or National Guard, I can't remember, but I had to ride with them. I remember looking down and seeing I could actually see the ground through the vehicle. There was a gap in between the floorboard and the damn door about this big. And I'll tell you something, I said, if I'm going to die today, I'm not going to feel it. So I fell asleep. I had my MVG's night vision goggles with me. Well, Steve was riding with us, and it was me and him in the back seat. And I looked at him and I said, if I'm going to die today, I'm going to be sleeping. And it had been a long mission. So fell asleep and forgot my MVG's in the truck. Now, if you lose your MVG's, we all know what happens, right? Everything shuts down. You have to find the MVGs. And I mean, it gets bad. I mean, they will find them. Steve grabbed a hold of the MVGs and handed them to me and said, hey, you forgot these in the vehicle. That day, I know it doesn't seem like much to you guys, but that day I got a little bit more trust for him. But the way he changed my life was when he told me, you know, I had a family member die by the Americans and I'm still out here helping you. Made me feel stupid for thinking the way that I looked at things. You throw them in the pond. I was not there for that day. Thank God. If you guys got to go back a few episodes on the interviews to see that what we're talking about, what Hollywood Dave just was talking about. So going back to, do I think that, you know, interpreters should be allowed over here? The old rule was you had to help us for, I believe it was 10 years. Yeah, I'm sure I did miss out on a lot of bullshit. I'm sure I did, buddy. Your guys' tent looked amazing. You guys were the only ones that decorated for Christmas on the outside of the tent. It was awesome. I do remember that. I do remember lions, American flag. Absolutely. That was like a staple of Christmas for me out there, was that American flag. It was awesome. I'm a big Christmas guy myself. So definitely remember that. Yeah, hot Carl, right? But I believe the old rule was 10 years of helping us. And these guys are putting their lives on the line. I mean, it's hard to say. It really is, without getting political. You know what I mean? And I don't get into that on this channel. But we had another one, Chucky. He was awesome too. He was funnier than hell. What happened Wednesday was tragic. And anytime we lose a service member, whether that be National Guard, Reserve, active duty, anytime you lose a service member, it's a tragedy. I don't know the right answer for that. So if you're one of the ones that have asked me, you know, do I think that they should be allowed over here? I believe they've earned it by helping us. Because you have to realize, without them, we would have been screwed. Last week with Farrell's video, you guys heard the call to prayer. A lot of those times that when the call to prayer went on, they were telling us, they were announcing to everybody where we were, and we wouldn't have known that had it not been for those interpreters. You're right. You are absolutely right. Anytime that happens on American soil, it pisses you off. It absolutely does. And you know, I just pray for peace. And I know that sounds so generic. And it'll probably never happen. But we would have been screwed without those interpreters. And if I'm telling the truth, we would have been. You know, it's a tragedy what happened to them, but nobody could have seen what happened. Not even the guy who did it's family. Don't know what happened. So, you know, I got a lot of good things going here with this channel. We all do. You know, you guys have done an amazing job at just showing up for me, showing up for the show, showing up in general. And this show would not be where it's at without you guys. And I wanted to take some time out and thank you guys, because you guys have not only helped the show, but you guys have helped me as well. There have been a lot of times in the last few months where my life has been crazy. And waiting for a break. But you guys always show up. Always. Every single Sunday, every single interview. And I want to thank you guys for that. And it doesn't even stop when this camera goes off. You guys are amazing. Yeah. That's unreal to think that it in DC. Yeah. It really is. It's incredibly sad what happened. You guys are awesome. I mean, every single one of you guys, I have had friends come in to this chat and message me and be like, these guys are awesome. You guys are, because you guys don't have to show up for this. And the gumbo recipe, yep. But I wanted to take some time out and thank you guys, because you guys have shown up for me. And I really do appreciate it more than anything you guys know. So, thank you. I appreciate it. You know, we have two people right now that, one is, we've called him Hollywood Dave, but his wife right now is in the ER. If you are watching, hope you get to feeling better. Don't know exactly what's going on, but if there's anything that you guys need, I am definitely here for you. You got a gang of brothers and sisters out there that are here for you guys. We love you guys. I hope you start feeling better. And again, if you need anything, let me know. The other one is Brian Jacobson. He's been struggling for a while, and I hope he doesn't mind that I'm not going to go into details about what's going on, because that's not my job. But Jacobson, if you're watching this out there, brother, listen, you know, I talked to you earlier this morning, and I know you're going through a rough time. I want to let you know that all of us are here for you. You're going to get through this. I know sometimes life gets crazy. Trust me, I do. But just know you have a community of guys and gals that will show up for you. And if you need anything, let us know. I hope you get to feeling better, bud. Not only that, but I pray that, you know, something positive comes your way. And I hope you're listening to this, or I hope you're watching it, because you're one of my brothers. I didn't get real close to you out in Iraq and stuff, but you're still a brother to me. And I hope you start feeling better. Take it day by day, one step at a time, and you'll get there. You're a soldier. You've went through hell, buddy. But I want to let you know that we're here for you. I love you. You know, some of the things that I'm working on right now is I've had a lot of interviews, and I think I've missed two weeks without an interview since August. pretty damn good. I'm trying my best to get an interview every week. Each week it gets a little bit more difficult to get an interview. I am reaching out to those people outside of the people that I interviewed now. This is something that, all of us have been wanting to do. And I'm going to start reaching out a little bit to these people. I was supposed to do it today, had some other stuff. I'm also going to be setting up a schedule. So that means if you know somebody out there that wants to be on the show, you can, number one, email me at operationintelofficial@gmail.com. Message me on Facebook, anything like that. I will be getting a schedule. I'm probably going to be setting that up tomorrow. And it's going to be ran by AI. So it's not going to be me that's going to be doing the scheduling and stuff. But I'm going to try to do it that way. So then it can be more consistent. This weekend, it was a little hard. I had a really good one that I wanted to bring you guys. And it was supposed to happen on Wednesday. That got canceled. Then Friday, it got canceled. And then Saturday canceled as well. So I think going forward, I'm not going to be doing it on Tuesdays and Thursdays strictly. I think it's putting a lot of stress on myself to get them out every Tuesday and every Thursday. I'm going to, because everybody's schedule is a little bit different. And that's what I found more and more when I've done this. Every Sunday, I love doing the rally point when my internet is up. But I'm going to try to get these, and then I'm going to try to have a backlog of them. So then I can put out more for you guys. Not only more, but if somebody cancels, I have another backup to where I can just put that in its place. Right now, I don't have that. I've been reaching out to people in our group and stuff like that. Sometimes people don't want to be on the show, and that's okay. And I know it has nothing to do with me or the show. Has to do with them, and that's okay. You're always welcome on this show. Always. So if your mind changes where you do want to share your story, by all means, I'm always here. I'm always open to it. Lion gave me a contact. I will be getting a hold of him. Chief Hunter is working on something super cool for you guys. I hope I can get that scheduled. If I can get that scheduled, I think you guys are going to really enjoy it. I've got some big things on the back end planned, right? Just a part of growing. Sometimes things don't work out, and I've got to understand that. Try to make everything as perfect as possible. I'm going to be working on more shorts and stuff like that, but I'm also going to be streaming to more platforms as well. So what you're seeing right now, the rally point is going to be, I think I'm going to be going live maybe on a couple other platforms like Rumble and different things like that. Maybe even Twitch. I know me and Cahill have talked about that. I want to put that in motion. I really want this channel to take off. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, I had some problems with the people that were making the merchandise. I didn't want to make a bunch of stuff. Chuck ordered something and still hasn't received it. So I'm getting that figured out. I didn't want to make stuff for Cyber Monday and Black Friday and then it not get shipped to you guys. And then, yeah, it's just, I'm trying to figure that out as well. So there's a lot of stuff on the back end that I'm trying to figure out. That reminds me. I love Chuck, man. He's been so understanding. He understands that it isn't me. I promise you guys, if it's the last thing I am going to do, I will get a press and everything like that. and I will start making my own merchandise for you guys. So then I am in control of it. So, that is one thing that is one of my goals, is to have that press and be able to push out my own merchandise and stuff like that. I think that would be really cool. And then I don't have to depend on somebody else to do it. And then I know what's happening with it. I want to take more control over that kind of stuff. So, listen, you guys. Thank you guys for understanding that I couldn't get on last night. I love doing these on Sunday nights. I really do. But I wanted to put out the show for you guys. I love doing this live show. I love having you guys on the air with me as well. Today was a little bit different, and that's okay. But I'm going to try to get an interview out to you guys this week. I'm not exactly sure when that will be. I am putting messages together for people. So if you know of anybody, I am going to message the guy that Lion told me. I got another guy I'm messaging that you guys might know tomorrow as well. But if you guys know of anybody, put them in contact. Tell them to, get a hold of me. I'd love to hear their story. Yeah. So that's number one to me right now, as well as getting these interviews out so we can help as many people as we possibly can and let people know that they're not the only ones that struggle after service. So be looking out. I'm going to try my best to get another interview out for you guys this week because I love them as much as you guys love them. I will be doing shorts, though, this week as well. So, you guys, this was a great show. Sorry again that I had to do it on a Monday night. But if you guys have any questions, anything to say, put them in the chat. I appreciate everybody that was in the chat tonight. I truly do. Sorry for changing the schedule on you guys. I will be doing the rally point on Sunday nights. Good. You got your stickers. And he lives further away from you, from Chuck, than you do, Cahill. You're up there in Washington. Chuck's in California. Must not be too Hollywood, buddy. But listen, guys. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Thanks again for literally everything that you guys have done for me, this channel, and understand he's dead to me. I don't think that's possible. I don't think Chuck can be dead to you. But listen, I love you guys. Thank you for showing up tonight. I hope you guys have a great week. Be looking out for the interview this week and be looking out for the Rally Point Live on Sunday night. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys on Sunday.